from our next guest for episode 25 of Shotgun The Aux, Ric Flo, Jungle Brown. How you doing, man? Welcome.
I'm blessed, man. Thank you so much for getting me on, because I know it's been a madness tonight.
We have had a bit of a drama tonight, haven't we?
Oh man, it's
Yeah.
So just to elaborate on that point, so we were recording a little bit late anyway. Ric's come down from London today to attend an event, which he'll go on to in a little minute.
Yeah.
It would make me kind of turn a long story short. There was someone was hit by a train in Bournemouth, held up all the trains, so Ric was late to his event. We were really close to calling it off tonight until we thought, nah, fuck it, we'll just pick him up from Upton Park, which is about 20 minutes from here, and
Yeah.
it's currently 11:05. We made it back in the lounge, ready to rock, man.
But
so,
proper, I really appreciate it, because at the end of the day, you didn't have to, you know what I mean?
That's
And I
wicked,
wasn't gonna be back again. So when you're almost like, oh yeah, might just fuck this off, and then you got that energy just to let's do it.
Yeah, we've had a chat now, haven't we? It's sort of reignited. We're ready to.
Yeah, and I was
rock
just
it, aren't
saying,
they?
there's not a lot of podcasts like this. So I'm just about at the end of the day, let's make the most of it.
100%, man.
Yeah.
We're like guerrilla podcasting at its finest. Like, we will go anywhere, we record at any time. Do you know what I mean, man? So yeah,
Nah.
so it's
That's
commitment.
dedication, man.
So going back to the event that you were late to, man, early today. So you told us a bit in the car on the drive down there what it was about, and it's quite inspiring stuff, man. So we'll talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, for sure. So I do. It used to be called rap therapy workshops. The reason why, I mean, to be honest, rap was therapy for me, and it got to a point where with my first solo project, to be honest, I don't even listen to it now, because it was literally a venting exercise. A Boy Called Ric, you can find it on Spotify, iTunes, all that stuff.
I might have listened to a few tracks in preparation for today's
Yeah,
episode, man.
yeah. No,
I had a
yeah.
listen through.
it's a mad one. I'll be honest with you, because the project was done 6 years ago, 2 to 3 years prior to Jungle Brown manifesting. I had the vision to do it, because I felt like I needed to do it, because I felt like if hip hop is really the voice of the voiceless, why have I never heard from the perspective of a young person in care? I've heard Eminem joke about the foster kids. I've heard certain jokes, but it's to a certain extent, if you don't see your image within the music, then you're not going to feel confident about doing it.
Yeah.
I remember back in the day in Bournemouth when I was fostered in Southbourne. I remember there was one particular guy, he was like, oh, so you want to rap, yeah? Well, you haven't been shot 9 times. I was like, huh? But obviously back then, 50 Cent was the guy.
Yeah.
So he's just saying okay, cool, well, rap is reflecting gangster rap. There was no Kanye back then, so it's you can't be a rapper unless you're doing that. So my thing is as I got older, I was like, nah, you know what? I need to, if like Chuck D said, if hip hop is really the voice of the voiceless, let me just represent myself, and hopefully help young people in care know that, look, I've been through the same emotions as you. I haven't got parents necessarily like you. But if I'm doing alright, you're gonna do alright.
Mm-hmm.
So cut long story short, fast forwarding on, Swansea Social Services heard my project, and they put me on about 3-4 years ago to do a rap workshop with the young people in Wales.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a mad experience, because before that even happened, they choreographed a dance to my song called Hide and Seek. And just to see young people actually put their creativity upon your music, it was touching, and it basically just let me know that, oh, this is actually important. You need to carry on. And especially when it got to the following year, when they're like, hey, can you help the young people write their own songs? That was really powerful. That's what inspired the song Do You. Because when I realized that, this is not just some rap thing that you just do, you can actually change someone's life by the words that you rap. That's when the whole game changed, because it's I had an intention to kind of, inspire young people, but then when you actually see it with your own eyes, there's one thing having law of attraction, there's another when you actually see it. Then it's all right, cool, this is serious.
Going back to the track Do You, and in the intro you've got like kids.
Yeah.
Are those kids you've worked with?
Yeah. So
that's
they were
pretty
they
cool.
were actually kids in Swansea.
Okay, cool.
So
I thought one had a Welsh accent, man. I'm half Welsh myself. I've got a keen ear for that accent.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah, so fast forwarded on, I guess. that was the catalyst of the workshops.
Mm-hmm.
That first experience, but it took me time to want to do workshops on a regular basis because, you know, to a certain extent, people could say you can't teach rap, you know, and I didn't want to come across like preachy. I didn't want to say like, oh, I've got the creative ideas, like do it this way, because everyone's got their own method. So it took me time just to get into a place where I didn't feel like I had imposter syndrome,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't feel like, and I felt like I could actually get paid to do this. Because there's one thing that's like going somewhere, say like, hey, yeah, just rhyme that with that and just be real in it. But then there's another thing when people are actually they're paying you to be a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, whoa, like I've never formally been a teacher. So my thing is behind the scenes, I did a few poetry like workshops. Not many people
The
know.
PhD in rap as well, man. That'd be.
That's the main thing.
Yeah.
But it's like
diploma.
what I learned from like literally 6 months ago. What I learned from doing advanced poetry workshops at City Literature is that I was in a class where I was the youngest person. It's mainly like people that are retired, middle class, whatever. They don't care about rap. They just literally analyzing me for my words.
Yeah.
So just the way they were talking about what I was saying, or the teacher that was just well versed in English, talking from her point of view, it opened up my brain in a way that I was like, okay, I know how to teach now, because they're just taking me back to school in the sense of metaphors, similes, alliteration, Like I do certain things in rap, but I don't know, I can't necessarily tell you what it is by the technique. I'll just be like, oh, listen to a Nas song, innit?
Yeah.
Like that's it. Like
Yeah,
I can't tell you what I'm doing. Whereas now I can literally analyze a song and be like, I see what you're doing there. I can do exactly the same thing if I wanted to. So it got me to a point where I feel like Neo in the Matrix, where it's like I literally know the method to the madness. If I want to make an album like Kendrick Lamar, I swear to you, I can make an album like Kendrick Lamar. And that's a big statement, but I feel I can do it.
You heard it here on Shotgun The Aux.
And but when you hear Revolt, you'll see
To Pimp a Caterpillar coming out by Ric Flo.
Yeah, when you hear Revolt, the next single that's coming out next week, when you hear that song, you'll see that the bars game has got a lot. It's a lot more in depth, and it's not necessarily over your head, but it's like I get what he's doing there.
Did you as part of this process, besides kind of going to the advanced literature and all of this stuff, did you kind of analyse various rappers and lyrics and techniques as well?
Yeah, of course.
Think, okay, so it changed your perspective on that.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, for instance, like my main thing of how my rap style's changed over the years, I think knowing that Rakim was the innovator of...
Yeah. He found the pockets, didn't he? He was like you could structure the bars just by visualising.
Exactly. Everyone was doing like Run DMC raps, Nursery Rhyme raps. He came along and just like literally did like made it so intricate, like multi-syllable rhyme and all this stuff. But my main thing that I take from Rakim is that he basically said that his dad was a jazz player, and he just wanted to be a jazz player with words. So when you think about using your voice as an instrument, as a jazz instrument to rap, it's like, especially with how freestyle jazz can be sometimes, you can be like mad flexible with your cadences and stuff. Mm-hmm. And that was probably the first thing that opened my mind up, in the sense of rapping, because before, you could rap like your favorite rapper. Like there was a point I was rapping like Eminem, or I tried to rap like Nas or whatever. But then when someone says, don't rap like your favorite rapper, rap like a jazz instrument, then it's like, all right, cool, pick John Coltrane. How are you going to even try and rap like an instrument? Like you can, like when I think about rapping like an instrument, I think the closest rapper that I think of in the way I look at it is Chance the Rapper, because I was thinking of him at the time.
See, for me, it's and I mentioned this on last week's, it's probably Black Thought. Because
Okay.
I think the roots, like, and I always say this, they like transcend hip hop for me.
Yeah.
And I think that the guy is he is an addition to the band. He's
a beast,
he's a
man.
musical instrument.
Yeah.
He's
sure.
not just a kind of, so I completely understand like where you're coming from with that.
Yeah.
I mean, Chance the Rapper's a really good contemporary example of that as well.
I say Chance the Rapper only because my thing is like, if you go like I don't know where you're going. Like usually I'm used to like a duh, 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 duh.
You'll
Mhm.
talk about the sort of rhyming
Yeah,
flow.
the basically the melodic pattern
Yeah,
of
yeah.
where people go. So with chants similar to ODB to a certain extent. ODB
Yeah,
is
yeah.
a bit more off the wall, but
Off
in the
kilter.
sense that I don't know where you're going. Like there's a lot of rappers you can almost predict what the next word they're gonna say.
Mhm.
So when you do that thing where it's just like Jay-Z Reasonable Doubt album, it's one of my favorite albums ever. His cadence on that is like it's so entertaining. Like I don't even know what it's talking about half the time. I do now, but it's like just as a sound. And I'm in a place now where even I'm very sound orientated. It's just I know that basically a lot of people don't actually outside of rap don't listen to the raps. They listen to the sound first.
Mhm.
So that's why they might like Gold Link or they might like Jay Prince. And I'm not saying these guys ain't got bars. My thing is we're in a very melodic place with rap. Even with this like, you know, whatever people want to call it, emo rap, sadistic rap. I don't know what they want to call it. I don't care to be honest. Even mumble rap, whatever they want to
Yeah.
call it.
Dranky stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
it's all very melodic and my thing is if you really although there's space for everything, like my thing is I'm very melody first, then put the words in.
Yeah.
And I
that
never
makes
used to
sense.
do that. My thing before was have the bars,
So
then find whatever.
So obviously you've got the first album that was Boy Called Ric.
Yeah.
So you've said on your interview with Itch FM and you said here as well it was very much therapy for you that album.
100%.
So was therapy the incentive for writing that, and how did you go about writing an album that was so honest and personal?
It's all I knew.
That's all you knew.
I didn't really know no other way. I mean,
but I guess the background you
yeah,
coming from
you
it was
know,
almost like, and saying it's like a reflection of who you are at
Yeah.
the time and going on to inspire other kids and stuff.
yeah.
So how
I guess no. I'll be honest with you. There was gonna be a project called Call of Duty, because at the time all my friends were playing Call of Duty, and when I came back to Bournemouth, I was talking to one of my boys, Jerome, and he was like, Rick, you just need to crack on with the raps. Like, what are you doing? Like, I was like, yeah, man, I don't know. Like, I do need to do it. And then I was like, yeah, it's my Call of Duty. But then it's just some random bullshit name. But you know, it's one of them things where I was just like, I didn't know where my direction quite yet. All I knew was that I wanted to rap.
it's got quite a good like double meaning though.
I think the album's a great name.
Yeah.
It is, when you listen through to it, it is. I feel like it's the impression that I get
Yeah.
is it's a very you're sort of like you take away all the layers and it's just you.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
very
yeah,
personal.
yeah.
It's exactly sort of what you've been through, your thoughts and
100%.
your experiences.
Yeah, A Boy Called Rick was basically so Call of Duty was the original name, and I didn't know necessarily the direction. But then I'll be honest with you, I went to Nigeria, and I was born in Nigeria, and I was just really down one night, and I felt like whether it's an epiphany, or people less spiritual, it was just like I was such in a dark place that I was just like, fuck, I just need answers, and it just came to me, and basically I felt like God said like, look, you've lived this life in care, you have to tell your story. That was it. So as soon as I got that vision, I came back to London, and I just working my 9 to 5, just made sure I was doing a song a week in the studio. So by the end of the year, it's like boom, project done.
Damn,
And that
man.
was it. A
I'm
Boy
waiting
Called
for
Rick was
some
done.
divine intervention for myself, mate.
That's really interesting because obviously I can see that you're very focused on helping out foster children, aren't you?
Yeah, 100%.
And that you recently did something with Collected Creative, didn't you?
Collective Creative, yeah. So what's happened with even why I'm in Bournemouth right now is that Transmissions, which is an event set up by Soundstorm, they're just a music education agency that are just here to help kids of any kids that are not just in school. At the end of the day, they don't have to be fostered. It's just open to any kids that are into rap, and obviously their whole program's not about rap. It's just that they had like quite obviously classical music stuff and whatever, all of this other more commercial base that probably looks better for the funding from the Arts Council. But then they know, luckily there was a young person in the program called Rachel, knows that, you know, obviously Grime's killing it, Stormzy, all of that. So she's like, oh, okay, well, she saw me do a workshop with foster kids. So she was like, "Hey, would you mind doing it with just these 14-year-olds and they're interested?" I was like, "All right, cool." Just gone on a tangent. What was the original question?
So it was a collected creative event.
Collective creative. So basically, I've branched out into the idea of community, because foster care was the original community that I was connected to. But then the more I sort of look at my niche within hip hop, people like to say they're about community, but then it's like, all right, cool. Like, really?
Yeah. Where's the evidence for that?
Exactly.
And what reason are you doing it for? Do you know what I mean? Is it genuine?
So as I've like really kind of just focused on what, I guess, just being, not really being authentic, but it's like, how can I help?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've got videos openly on my Facebook just saying like, how can I give more value to the people? Like, and I would never do that now. It's quite sad when I look at it. But I was going through, I was just, like, I think out loud sometimes. It's like, oh, you know, how can I help more? So in a sense of knowing about the statistics of, you know, just hearing about knife crime all the time and all that, it just got to a point where, because I know the statistics of foster kids, you know, like 6% go to university, and just mad statistics. To be honest, like, I don't even know where I got the prostitute thing from. Where did I get it from? I got it from some prime minister. But like 60%. Actually, I don't even remember. I'm not even gonna tell you that statistic because that's not one to even highlight.
Yeah.
Let's say 25% of people that are in prison were from the care system.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just, it's just mad just to hear that.
Yeah.
So I guess hearing that and then hearing Carla speak so eloquently about it, it just made me have a perspective about how I feel about knife crime and stuff like that.
Yeah, because I mean, I hope you don't mind me saying, but obviously I watched the video and you did get a bit emotional, didn't you?
Yeah.
It's obviously an important topic for you.
Yeah, I mean, there was some other things that happened that day that was just annoyed me, but I think when I started talking about, I don't really talk about home and family that much anymore. So I think just me, you know, starting with, I guess, just so people don't know that haven't seen the video, basically, I feel that if you want to sort out knife crime in a very like simple way, you have to think about it in 3 layers. Like, the nucleus is home, and at the end of the day, if home's fucked up, then you've got to be lucky if that kid turns out all right. Then the second part is community.
Mm-hmm.
Third part is just where you spend your 9 to 5, whether it's for kids, school, for us, like work.
Right.
So the power of influence is from the nucleus, obviously. So if, you know, as the family are messed up, if you know, all of that domestic violence, blah blah blah, then yeah, the kid's gonna be lucky to make it out. Then the community, you know, if it's getting into gangs, then what do you expect? And then school, if the school teachers are not encouraging the young people, then like, at the end of the day, that guy's gonna be a menace, or the girl. So that was my thing, and I didn't get that from anywhere. I just got that from just knowing and caring and just knowing enough information about myself, and it just got to a point with me where I'm meeting a lot of London people, and you know, certain kids can just suss you out in the sense of, I haven't lived in London all my life. I don't act like a road guy. I don't do certain things. So I felt insecure to even, not insecure, but like, it's an imposter syndrome again. Like, I'm not gonna go to the hood or go to this particular area, talk to these kids when they'll just suss me out and be like, you're not really from here. Why should I talk to you? What's your credentials?
Yeah.
So when I knew my angle in a sense of what they would relate to, then it's like, all right, cool. Well, I feel confident to talk about these certain things.
I think it's really good how obviously you've taken music and it's obviously given you, it's made you well known. You know, it's helped a lot with your sort of presence, and then you've used it to then voice your sort of opinions and voice very important topics. Is that something you always planned on doing, or it's just something you've accidentally fallen into?
It's growth. It's growth of just trying to understand who you really are and understand what you can offer.
It's good, man.
Because at first you could just be like, you know, money, hoes and clothes, like,
yeah.
But then you start to know what's your brand,
break
who
beneath
you are.
The surface, man.
Exactly, and then you know, Nipsey Hussle, like, the more I started to know about his story, there's a reason
so much for the community.
Yeah, there's a reason why he's not a part of, like, why he's so, like, why his legacy is so strong. Like, he wasn't even on, like, he was just coming up. Like, Victory Lap, like I was just like anticipating what he's gonna do next because I feel like he was just starting to get put on. He was starting to be at the Grammy Awards and all that stuff. He was starting to
It's the early
connect
stuff,
with.
the Crenshaw stuff he did was amazing.
Yeah, yeah. He was like in the sense of being a household name. He was just starting.
Yeah.
So it's a shame, but at the end of the day, the legacy of just the work he was putting in behind the scenes,
So,
regardless of like being a Jay-Z, it's just like that's what I look up to.
yeah, you have some integrity and you're doing something for the right reasons. But going back to kind of like your musical journey, obviously you did your solo stuff, and then you moved on and formed Jungle Brown.
Yeah.
So do you want to go into that a little bit, the formation of Jungle Brown and like how you've evolved as a group and because you've done a lot of gigs, haven't you?
Yeah.
You've done
Jungle
Glasto, you've done
Glastonbury,
Boomtown.
I saw you at
Love Box,
Boomtown, man.
Yeah, man.
That was an incredible performance. And
Boomtown was
because I
mad.
watched the I can't remember what the video was called, but you did a documentary on the shows you were doing, and you spoke about a lot. I mean, I saw the show and then
It's
watched,
custom made.
watched the
It's
video,
the documentary.
watched
man.
the video only recently, and then it kind of made sense the performance you put on because you speak about how you want to do something extra. You don't want to just stand on the stage and just rap into a microphone. Who was it you said you were inspired by? That you went and saw? I can't remember who in the video.
De La Soul.
De La Soul,
That's
man.
the one, yeah.
I was gonna say your stuff is very kind of like Jungle Brown. When I first heard it, it's very kind of akin to say like your Soulquarians and De La Soul, Tribe Called Quest, and although it's happy, it's like upbeat, it's very Afrocentric. It reminds me of all of that good stuff.
Yeah.
But it's done in I don't know. It's just a kind of a unique take on the UK hip hop angle, especially like what we're used to listening to. Do you know what I mean? And what's kind of popping right now in terms of
you're right.
It's just a different approach
your own
to it
sort of
entirely.
flavour to it and your own twist to it.
So how did that come about?
Bruv, like the angle that you're talking about it from, like it's mad the connections because I didn't listen to De La Soul when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
I was aware of Freeze the Magic Number and all that stuff, but I didn't listen to them. So even Tribe were cool, but I'll be honest, my thing was Mobb Deep, Fugees, Nas, Busta Rhymes. Like that's all I remember from my childhood. Eminem. So it's like the connections of the music. Obviously, it's the sound. The sound's a big part of it, but I believe in the sense of the energy. Just from us being from Bournemouth, by default, like what is our hardships? Like to a certain extent, even though we have like in a sense of boys come together, like let's just make fun music. It's like when you deep it, it's like we're just trying to make fun music. So so naturally with the sound,
like Jurassic 5.
with the sound and then the sort of the fact that we're from Bournemouth and we haven't got really deep hardships. It's like we're just gonna do feel good vibes. We've got to a point now where we don't want to be looked at like Rizzle kicks. So just knowing where I came from as a solo artist and knowing where Mayo wants to go, the other MC in Jungle Brown wants to go with his solo stuff, and just knowing how we want to shape our self in the scene, we have to give a bit more of ourselves.
Is that so? That's an interesting point you raise, right? So when you say you don't want to be the next Rizzle Kicks, and no, obviously disrespect to Rizzle Kicks, but is that a perception that you have at the moment, and you're making a conscious decision to do something about it?
100%.
Or is that based on feedback?
Both.
Okay.
But no, hardly anyone said it. It's most of the time it's people that are not that knowledgeable about hip-hop.
I guess it's like your own harshest critic, right?
Yeah. And when as soon as someone puts that comparison, you just have to look at yourself and be like, why would someone say that?
Do you know what I think it might be? I think
the B-Town connection.
It's very rare. For me anyway, it's very rare that you hear like saxophone and wind in a lot of like current hip hop, and I think where Rizzle Kicks is the most sort of well known for their Down the Trumpets track, and then you've got a lot of wind instruments. I think that might be the connection.
But obviously to your point, if you're kind of to the uneducated ear perhaps, but it doesn't sound anything alike to me. I love a smooth saxophone that kind of complements it, and it's live instrumental as well, isn't it? It's not samples. Personally I don't get it, but I understand the point you're making.
I guess, as we were talking about earlier, because there's not many people even doing that sound, it's almost like, well, you either Stormzy or you just Rizzle kicks. Like,
Yeah.
people are just so bait. It's like there's so much more to the game than that. But because hip hop's not, that sound is not getting the exposure that it should. You know, the next comparison would be like, yeah, you guys are like Lil Kana. To be honest, even the label, and I don't mind the label doing this, it is what it is. On Keep It Moving on the video, they put, if you like Lil Kana, Kofi Stone, who else, Coops, then you'll like this. And that's fine, because to be honest, I like all of them.
Yeah.
But my thing is just, I just got a little qualm of just like, as a label, you don't need to put that in the in the music video description. You put that in the sort of newspaper. But anyway,
it's fine if
sorry, Mr. Bongo, I'm being real.
It's alright if I say like in an algorithm in Spotify to say if you like this artist, then you'll like these artists. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, I hear what you're saying, man. You don't want to be pigeonholed. You don't want to be kind of because I mean they're all doing their things respectively. We talk about and we had a chat about Lil Kana beforehand. It's almost. He's doing his thing. He does it well. He has developed as an artist. I watched his Glasto performance, and his stage presence is definitely like improved.
100%.
Oh, I didn't watch. Was it actually that good?
He did well. He carries himself really well. But the point being, we talked to our last guest, like Aiti, about it, is that he's almost kind of at a point where if he was to deviate from his current style, then he would probably alienate a lot of his fan base. And that's tricky for artists, I can imagine, to overcome if they ever want to evolve creatively or take risks with their sound and change things up too drastically.
True.
So, what kind of challenges like that do you face, and how do you try to overcome them?
Good question. I would say that advice from Jungle Brothers. Because we supported Jungle Brothers at Jazz Cafe.
Did that get confusing for anyone?
Nah, because you know what? It was their 30-year anniversary.
Yeah.
So there's people old enough to be our dads in there. So
I like that, man.
So yeah, they didn't get confused. It's kind of like it's just genius marketing, and it's like, oh yeah, Jungle Brand support Jungle Brothers. But what they said to what Bam from Jungle Brothers said behind in the green room, because I don't really know all their catalog. They've got like house song. One of their house songs is like really big. House Shoe, I think it's literally called. And I thought it was a joke. I didn't really know. Apparently, it was like big back in the day, but I thought it was a joke tune when I heard it for the first time at the gig.
No offense, Jungle Brothers.
Yeah, no offense at all. But he was like, "Look, at the end of the day, you have to just be ahead of the game. Like, people are gonna want to think that you're just this. But if you have, other ideas about how you want to take your music, just do it. Because at the end of the day, people are either gonna love it or they hate it. But as long as you do what makes you happy, that's all that matters.
That takes us on to sort of what we were speaking about in the car. That there's a point where you stay true to yourself, but there's also a point where you've got to, in a sense, be slightly commercial in order to actually be able to be successful and get people to come out and listen to you.
Yeah, I mean, I take the commercial thing with a pinch of salt. My thing is, you don't want to shoot yourself in the leg. So, for instance, Bryson Tiller outside of hip hop. Bryson Tiller has got his first project, or first massive project, was Trap Soul. Now, I don't know if he's done a better album since Trap Soul. I think he's brought out one other album, and but it's like no one knows what it's called. So, my thing is, it's nice to create a sound or be a part of a sound. But you as an artist, unless you're Prince, you're a voice, and you need to keep on reinventing yourself, because people might not know this at first, but deep down, the artists that have the longevity keep on reinventing themselves. It doesn't matter whether it's a Madonna or whether it's a Jay-Z or whether it's a Kanye. Kanye's transition is so obvious.
Different.
But he every few albums he reinvents himself. I don't necessarily think it's been great after Dark Twisted Fantasy. I'll be honest. I think he's done ideas that have sprinkled, like where he could go after Dark Twisted Fantasy. But for me, Dark Twisted Fantasy is his best project. But obviously I love College Dropout, all that. But Dark Twisted Fantasy was like, he reached the epitome of just like, whoa, like,
Yeah,
putting
really
it all
out,
together.
really out there, wasn't
I
it?
suppose
What's-
each
so-
album and each different sound will appeal to a different audience, wouldn't it? So he's
Yeah.
still slowly growing his fan
So
base, isn't he?
Sometimes though, like, who was I having a conversation about this earlier, where you've got that. That's great if you want to kind of reinvent yourself and evolve, and if it happens almost kind of organically.
Yeah,
and
it needs to happen organically.
Exactly.
Like
because-
JEHST hasn't reinvented himself, but JEHST is JEHST, and I
and
love him.
that's the counter argument though, isn't it? It's kind of if you do something, you do it well, then there's no need to change because people will still listen to your shit.
100%.
So there's no, you don't need to necessarily put that pressure on yourself.
Yeah.
And it's really fucking obvious when it happens, like, and it's not genuine.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
100%.
And you referenced Madonna earlier, and
Yeah.
Obviously, you know, incredible artist over the years, but they get to a point and you're like, you need to retire. You just need to fucking retire. And Paul McCartney, retire. Just like all those types of people where you think, okay, enough is enough.
Yeah,
now.
you're right.
You can do it, Paul McCartney, man. You can do a track with Rihanna and whatnot, but it's not going to, like, it's not going to do you any favors, man.
I hear what you're saying, and reinvention
yeah.
is not easy to do because, as you say, like you got core fans, and then obviously this new sound will get new fans, but you have to have the authenticity there, and I don't think a lot of people can get it
Stay
right.
true to yourself, really, isn't it?
Yeah, and like, especially with hip hop's not supposed to be pop, so the way you reinvent yourself has to be real at the end of the day, but you just have to do it right, you know. And obviously, you could just say be real to yourself, but you just have to do it in a way where you're actually you've got that depth that people don't like. Oh, you're just jumping on trap because because it's not easy. I don't think it's easy with rap because rap has a thing about it where it's like we love listening to you because you seem authentic.
Mm-hmm.
So for you to like start, if you're a boom bap guy and you start doing this trap sound. Well, I'm not too sure if I can fuck with that unless I've really got enough layers of you that I can hear within the song. Because I feel like there's a lot, especially, I'll be honest with you, the way I look at Afro swing, drill, a lot of these artists sound the same.
Mm-hmm.
So if they try to reinvent themselves into the next sound, I wouldn't even be listening to them. Because, like, to me, they're just a sound. Like, drill's just a sound, and everyone's just doing the same thing, like, you know. There's certain mans that are shooting up and whatever. Well, if it was really that, you'll be in prison. But whatever.
Well, that reminds me of that MF Doom song, Rap Snitch Knishes, about, have you heard that one from the Food album? Where it's basically the concept is, it's like these rappers rapping about shooting people and you know, doing all these crimes. Why are they snitching on themselves? And if you haven't heard that or haven't heard it in a time,
no, it makes perfect sense.
Revisit it. It's the funniest fucking rap song.
But that's what a lot of you see in the news, that a lot of trap rappers do end up going to prison. Their lyrics used as evidence, didn't they?
Yeah. And
it's stupid.
It's mad stupid, and it's a vicious cycle because even though I've seen the band Drill tune by Krypton Conan, it's a mad cycle of like, all right, cool, you haven't got no opportunities. So you go to the streets, then you get a bit of money, you do a track, then you go to prison because you've done the track. Then it's like you've been in prison, so you can't actually get a job because you haven't got no qualifications.
What did you think?
So
of
it's
that
just
song?
a vicious cycle, and you're just back
If you
in.
come out of prison, you do a track about being in prison,
And then it's just
what,
like.
What did you think of that song?
I liked it for what it is. Like I thought like Rap Man, I like his angle storytelling. You know what? It's one of them things where I liked it for the cinema. But it's almost like you wanted more layers. You wanted like, okay, like, there's got to be more to this.
Do you think it helped with sort of like the cause?
Yeah, definitely. The fact that they got to go to, you know, wherever it was, 10 Downing Street or wherever it was, like Parliament, or actually want to speak to them, that's an achievement. That's one step.
This is the one
Band
that
Drill.
Rap Man did.
He
it was like a
directed the
mini
video.
movie. Yeah, it
Was that Rap Man, the guy who did Shiro Story?
Yeah.
You know,
so we did the song where basically this guy. It starts off with this guy.
is he in the
he's
car?
dealing from yeah.
And then
don't spoil it. I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
No.
But Krypton Conan are in.
They did
in
the
it?
song.
Yeah,
They did the song.
song.
Rap Man actually directed it.
And they're at the end, are they? Do they come in at the end?
Yeah. It's just like a cycle of basically going to prison
It's
and
like
then
Shiro
coming
Story,
out
innit?
and then doing music, but then
Yeah.
still being tangled up in the stuff you did before, and then just going back.
But that thing I felt with Shiro Story is that, and I don't know whether this is the point you were trying to make, is that like I wouldn't just put it on and listen to it. like it needs to be like
You need the visuals.
Yeah, you need the visuals
Yeah.
as well. It's kind of like okay, it's very simplistic in terms of storytelling.
Yeah.
But I think what we said it's a huge sort of statement, and there's so much that's involved in it that to put it in a 10-minute video, I thought it was too. Or
Yeah,
10
you
or 15
can't,
minutes
you
was
can't.
too
Is
sort
that,
of short.
oh,
I
I
thought,
see. All right. I
like
see
you
what
said, there
I
needed
see
to
what
be
you get
sort of
at.
more layers. I thought.
Yeah, there has to be,
But it's a great video. It's
but-
a fantastic video.
100%. And the fact that they got to go to talk to Parliament, that they kind of done the job that they needed to do, because it's quite hard to dissect the actual issues at hand within 10 minutes. Like,
Do you know what's mad as well on that note with like kind of going to Parliament is you know the Drill Minister, that song where he basically like he had a lot of backlash of like the lyrics used in drill music. So he like put a track together of like quotes and phrases
Yeah, I
from
remember
members
hearing
of
that.
Parliament. Like I can't remember what member of Parliament said it, but it's like I'm gonna chop Theresa May's body
Yeah,
up
yeah,
and I'll
yeah,
keep
yeah,
it in
yeah.
my
No,
freezer, like actual words that
no,
they
that's
said,
smart.
and he put it into like a drill track.
Who was that?
Drill Minister.
Oh, Drill Minister.
He
Yeah,
went on
smart
BBC
track.
News as
And then he
well,
went on
didn't
to Good Morning Britain, Piers
Yeah.
Morgan, and basically was like chatting about it.
I
And
like
that's
that,
where I
man.
heard about it.
Nah, it's a smart track.
So man, going back to like your live performances, yeah. So
Yeah.
you've obviously done Glasto, done Boomtown, you've done the Jazz Cafe as well, right?
Cafe a lot
so
of times.
in terms of venues, like what's your preference, like venue wise? Would it be somewhere that's more intimate, or would it be in front of a lot of people at a festival? What's kind of your
You know what? At this point, as long as they pay,
real talk, man?
I don't really care. I'll perform anywhere. I'll perform in someone's front room.
Yeah, man.
Like, cause like
Man's
literally,
got to eat.
yeah.
because you know, like 2 weeks ago we did a performance at Sofa Sounds.
Yeah.
Sofa Sounds was actually quite a sick gig, because that's literally Sofa Sounds started off in like someone's sofa and someone's front room, but they're like a big business now where like I guess they're getting championed and getting investment, because it's like NPR and Tiny
like
Desk.
Tiny Desk, man.
Like
yeah.
like anything that champions, you know, real voices and real instruments is getting championed on the internet more, because obviously everyone's getting streaming for
Tiny
pretty much
Desk
free.
is sick, man. I love those.
It's amazing.
So many. I love the Thundercat one, man. And
Yeah.
Thundercat one. He's like, yeah, he's rocking some crazy gums in that one. Erica Badu's one's amazing.
Yeah, the Roots got one.
Yeah, the
Or
Roots
is
have
it-
got one. Yeah.
Common's got one.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all incredible.
I just like how it like shows the artist in a real raw form.
100%.
Exactly.
Well, there's like it's like an
Even
office,
I'll tell
isn't
you
it,
what,
really?
who really surprised. I thought T-Pain was sick, man. 'cause
That's
he
what I mean.
didn't
Like,
have,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
a really
yeah.
good example
Yeah.
because it kind of
He didn't have
strips back-
auto-tune.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
auto-tune.
And that's the thing with the climate of hip hop right now. It's like them things are getting championed more, because they're showing you who the real artists are.
Yeah.
Did
You
you
know.
see Little Sim's Colours video?
I've seen it. Yeah. She's her album is one of my favorite albums.
she's
Yeah.
Her
incredible, isn't
Slow
it?
Ties album as well.
Yeah. Do you see Slow Tie at Glasto?
I saw some of his performance. I must admit,
Because he sent.
Was he in a mosh pit?
Yeah, so he wasn't really a mosh pit, like it was maybe Glasto standards, but it wasn't like
Wasn't like
anything.
a metal
So
one.
he got Loyal Kana to run into the
Yeah, I
crowd,
saw that.
and he started like
very
the
brave for
circle.
Lil Kana.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
and
very
Slow Tie
brave.
was just like, leave him alone, step away from him. But yeah, Slow Tie's performance was like super energetic as you would expect, but it was Dave's who was, I think,
Dave's probably
he
stole
took
it.
it
Yeah,
home, man.
you know,
Headlines.
I'll say one thing though, because I've said this indirectly on Insta, but I'm gonna just say it directly. The thing is about Slow Tie, I think his album's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
But my problem with his performance was, I can hear his lyric. I can hear the MP3 in the background, like full vocal, like the whole vocal, like no acapella. It's like literally,
Yeah.
I can hear it, and I'm just like, yo, like,
At least try to like
Oh shit!
pretend
Did he
like
mime it?
yeah, like,
A lot of artists have it in the background, but like it's when it becomes obvious and it.
yeah. I'm
It's
just
one
like, I'm
of my
not with it,
gripes.
like,
Mm.
because I've heard of like Flatbush Zombies talk about this actually when it comes to like what they call MP3 rappers, and they're saying there's a new generation of rappers that are just like literally. They just put their MP3, like the full, like mastered MP3 in the background,
They become their own hype man, don't
and
they?
yeah, and I'm just
They're
like,
just
what, like,
doesn't
nah.
even attempt to like move
No.
his lips. He's just like,
Exactly, and I know Slow
I'd
Tie
love
wasn't
that.
doing that, but my thing
Yeah.
is like, I don't know, just how I was brought up. It's like, you're an MC, you're a master of the ceremony.
Performance should be
I
like
would
the
say as
key
well, you
component.
pay, you
yeah,
pay
yeah,
that
yeah.
amount of money to go to Glastonbury. You want like
I
the
wanna
person
hear-
you're seeing.
yeah.
To
To be
actually,
honest,
like,
I think
perform.
like a lot of people watching Slow Tie were just like off their tits anyway. I doubt they would care that much.
Yeah.
Unless you, yeah. I mean, a festival is not like.
It's just seeing him, really, isn't it? And it's just
Yeah.
actually seeing him sort of jump around the stage.
I think that's the thing for a lot of people who go to festivals or gigs, depending if whether or not you're like intrinsically like really, really into that artist and you know a lot about them, and you would be upset if you saw them mime over an MP3. Do you know what I mean? But for the most part, I think like young kids at a festival, they're just getting riled up, and that's what they want to do.
know,
Do you know what I
but
mean?
I'm
Let's
still
get
like
it.
when I watch Jay-Z and Nas and
Yeah. Come on, man.
like Nas changed the way he flowed because he couldn't do the flow of Illmatic.
Which is like what you should do. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You should adapt for your live performance, right?
Yeah, whereas you can tell with Jay-Z, like he's a don because he can still do the flows he can do from his first album. He just chose to do it slow down. So like I'm just of that school of thought. Like like if you train yourself enough, you can do what you did in the studio. I don't want to be called a studio rapper. Basically, I want to.
I hear you, man.
What you
I
hear on the track, you hear it live.
Because Ocean Wisdom talked about that. He said he trains a lot, does a lot
Yeah,
of
you can tell.
cardio just to kind of. And he's beefed up a bit, I think, as well, man. But like,
Yeah.
but
jump around the stage for like an hour and a half sometimes, like.
but with
Like,
that
when I saw
flow
you
as
guys,
well.
when I saw you guys at Boomtown, like you guys were jumping around the stage, man, the
Yeah,
whole time.
yeah.
Like fair play to you.
Yeah, no, it's exercise. Like I realized, because I lose my voice a lot. I'll be honest with you after gigs, and it's because of one particular song to mine. It's Wicked, but which
That
I
song
cover.
Wicked, yeah?
Yeah.
Sick, man.
But what I realize is that I need to know how to basically not shout. I need to speak like I'm speaking now, but give it the power that it feels like the track, but just speak like I'm speaking now. Only because I'm never gonna be able to do a tour, because I'll literally lose my voice after the first 2 days. So I learned to do. So I started doing exercise and just doing like singing exercises. Found some tutorials on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Did a couple of them. They actually helped. Because I even met. There's a guy called Parallax. I think his name is UK rapper called Parallax. Shout out to him. He told me that he met. I'm not sure if he met Be Real, but he knows through watching something to do with Be Real that Be Real, that voice like insane. Like he obviously when he first started,
That wasn't his
that was
natural voice. Yeah.
But that's not his natural voice
No,
now.
because they thought he was whack when he first started spitting in his normal voice, and then he took it away and then went back to like Send Dog and the others
Mad,
and
see,
put it
man.
on. Yeah, I know the story, man.
So but that's the thing. He went to see an opera singer to maintain that sound and an opera singer.
But
like,
he's
worked
got to have
wonders.
pretty impressive lungs, the amount he
So I'm
smokes
just
anyway,
like,
man.
yeah.
Like, he's been bunning mad reefer for like fucking they're ahead of the curve, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
They've got investments in that.
So
stuff
when I
now,
heard
haven't
about
they?
opera
Yeah.
singing, I'm like, what? A rapper seeing an opera singer? He doesn't even sing. So, like behind the scenes, people don't know the levels people go to actually be a performer.
and sustain it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And it's
sustain
not
it.
just like a tour. It's a career. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like if you want to.
Especially
There must have been rappers over the years
Yeah.
who can keep up and dropped out for that very reason. Do you know what I mean?
Because if we be real, at the end of the day, like we have to be musicians have to be smarter in the sense of how they make money. Because when you hear about deals like De La Soul,
Oh
like,
man,
it's just
Tommy
awful.
Boy. Yeah, they were
Exactly.
Hold on,
absolutely fucked
you
over.
So
need to
that's
enlighten
why-
me- you need to enlighten me on this one. Hold on. So what was that? What happened?
well, apparently, like pretty much all the music that we know De La Soul from, they've made no money from, or like I don't know, 5%.
You try to stream their music on like
3% or whatever.
Spotify, and
It's not even on there.
No, there's like one like
Oh,
later
wow.
album or something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
like, literally, yeah. They were trying to renegotiate their deal or something. I don't know if because
Didn't someone happen a few months ago about this? I
Yeah.
remember
They
reading
they took
yeah.
it to the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. they did.
But on the flip side, without going into it too much, as I said, they've been the most inspiring performers that we've seen. So I feel like indirectly, from talking to other people as well, when you know that there's not much money being made from the music, you need to make sure that your tour game's great. Because tour, merch, sync deals, brand sponsorships. That's where all the money's go. That's where the money's at. You know, money's not made from the people. Don't buy CDs. Streaming is like, but it's like you have to actually have a sick live show.
Yeah, man.
So like in a way, even though I feel we all have to be smart with business. At the same time, the live show, like if you got the live show on lock, people, you're gonna go far. Like Koji Radical, I can tell has a sick live show. Slow Tie, just by default of him just being a madman, he has a sick show. Even though I feel he needs to.
Yeah, MP3.
But he still has a sick, like you can
I hear
tell,
you,
like just his character. There's nothing that you don't often see that within the game. So sick live show. So there's Lil Sims has got better with the live show. Like even the way Lil Kana does his thing, Dave, Stormzy, like the epitome. So it's just like the show needs to be sick because people need to. That's the thing I feel when I've seen a lot of these, let's say London rappers.
We talking grime, we talking drill. What are you?
I don't even want to. I don't want to. I don't want to name them. I don't want to name them. Anyway, the way I feel about London rappers is that because they've got the platforms around them and they can basically just blow up overnight from Grime Daily or Link Up. So there you go. There's a direction for you. They don't necessarily know how to do their stage show because they've literally just been doing stuff in their bedroom.
Yeah.
Or they're very road, and then they get to the stage and like still head down, hoodie up. They're not even looking at the crowd.
Yeah.
Just mumbling into the mic.
It's a key component of your kind of, I guess, like, makeup as an artist that you need to develop on
100%.
if you want to make it or
Gotta
like
be a
sustain a
personality,
career.
don't you?
Because those, I guess, the people you're referring to, they peak and then they drop
Exactly.
twice as fast.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? And it's just the way we consume like music at the moment. Everything's instant. People have very short attention spans.
100%.
Next man come through, drop a sick track, and you're like, oh yeah, that's good. And who's that next week? You're like, I don't know. So it's all about, I guess, keep progressing with the music you're making a statement with the music you're making, working on every single component, whether that be your live show, just kind of.
Yeah, you're right. Every single component.
Social
that's
media
the hardest
presence
thing.
is obviously like just as important.
Yeah.
Unless you're one of those kind of Cass is dead types whose elusive nature actually kind of helps him with his cult following. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of a different angle
you're right.
entirely.
There's a lot of factors, bro. Like the more I like music for me, Jungle Brown, the way Flight 314, the way everything started. I'll be honest with you, it was just like got a 9-to-5 jobs. We just want to make music. Outside of that, and it was just fun, and we put it on SoundCloud. SBTV picked it up, and ball started rolling.
Yeah.
But then it's got to a point now that it's like we've seen, things that we've done great, things that we've done bad. And it's like, actually, we need to actually understand the strategy and the whole 360 of how this music thing works because we're not getting any younger. And and if we're taking this seriously, well, we need to make money out of it. Now, money's never been my main thing, but what I've realized more than ever about myself anyway is that I'm very... When you hear about this, like, oh, creatives are left brain thinking, business people are right brain thinking. I was very left brain thinking. I'm a creative hippie at heart. But then you realize creative hippies don't make money, like, because you need, like, for you to have the mental capacity and just actually be mentally free to make music. You need to know the business aspect.
Yeah.
You can't just be like, oh yeah, I'm a free spirited creative. I just write. Like, how the fuck are you gonna pay your bills?
They fade into obscurity though. Those types, you know what I mean? They're often like after they die, they're remembered because I can't think of an example off the top of my head. But
most artists in the 19th century.
Yeah, exactly.
But there's too many YouTube videos. There's too much. There's like anomalies like Russ. There's like there's Chance the Rapper. There's like Nipsey. There's Jay-Z that's been giving us game for time. We just haven't been listening. There's been so many examples now. It's like you actually need to understand the whole 360, especially when you got people outside of music who I'd look to, like Gary V. And just even YouTubers, like when you start understanding what all of these people are doing, then it's just like, oh shit, if you apply that to music, then you'll smash it. And all they're doing is they got a brand, they got consistency, and they actually care about their fans. Simple as that. Like, as long as you got, it's not actually about the money. It's about if you value them three things: your fans, your brand, and you're consistent. you'll be fine. You just got to be
Be
in
like
it for
us,
the long
innit,
run.
lads?
Yeah, exactly. man. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it is
Same
important to
applies
have
to
that sort of
podcasting.
strategy if you do want to, just have a future.
Yeah.
Because it's like I say, it can be something that you just do part time for as long
Yeah,
as
yeah,
ever.
yeah.
But if you want to take it further and you want to be able to put more and more time into it, you need to be able to make sure you can afford to put more time
Yeah.
into it, isn't it?
Yeah,
And
man.
for time, I did. I'll be honest. I didn't feel that that's what Jungle Brown was doing, but not in a bad way. It was more like we're studio hermits. We're like album releases. So you'd only hear something from us if we've got an album to release.
Mm-hmm.
And I think at heart, it is. There's not. It is best to be an album person, but because the industry is very singles led, and as you said, like people just they might forget about you.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you just need to. My thing is anyway. I'm releasing a song a month from next week up until basically up until the end of the year. I'm releasing a song a month.
Even if they're not ultimately on an album, is it just like something to say that okay, yeah,
Just
I'm
singles.
still here? Do you know what I'm saying?
The way I feel, regardless of all the things I've done with Jungle Brown, I'm still unknown. Like I'm not unknown, but I feel like I haven't made a name for myself solo wise. Like everyone, like I could talk to people and they'll know Jungle Brown, but they're not gonna know me personally like they know Ocean Wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
So my thing is I need to build my audience. So, because I can do things alongside Jungle Brown. Jungle Brown in the perfect situation will be like Wu-Tang in a sense of we come together for the Wu project, but then people know us as individuals.
All signed to like your own labels as well. They had a strange like clause in their contract, Woo, didn't they? Like each of them was signed to different labels, and they were able to do it. It's really weird.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. No, yeah, I love that.
It's,
But
it's crazy. It's like that was an anomaly, man.
yeah, we'll see what the future holds. But basically, my thing is like, as I said, not getting any younger, and I'm living with no regrets. I've learned all this stuff from Russ,
Yeah.
from Jay-Z, from Nipsey. I'm like, rather than just talk about it, I don't care about opinions. I'm like, let me just actually just put out the music once a month, just like a YouTuber, and I don't care what anyone says. I've got to do it.
Yeah.
No, it's
Because
good, man.
contractually, Jungle Brown is with Mr. Bongo,
Mm-hmm.
but it's a licensing deal on the next project.
Ah, right. So
But it's not. It hasn't got nothing to do with us as individuals. So I can do whatever I want as an individual.
I see. Okay,
Yeah.
that's quite good. So with Jungle Brown, I think one of your previous interviews I listened to, and you did mention earlier JEHST. So you guys
Yeah.
supported JEHST, didn't you, in Southampton?
Yeah. In the sense of the early days of like when we was back in Bournemouth, I would say that Southampton at the time was the spot that put us on, because Tony Bones and a few of the other guys, they were going to Brockenhurst College, and then we had some gig in Nexus, a venue called Nexus, and that venue got low key Kalashnikov,
oof, man.
JEHST, all of
Heavy
them.
hitters from back
Yeah.
in the day.
And were these
yeah.
rappers that you looked up to at the time?
Yeah, so like I'll be honest with you, I didn't even know JEHST fully back then.
Right.
I got into JEHST so late. Like it was mad because I was just watching him, I was just like listening to him, and it was over my head. It's weird because I feel like, I don't know, it's almost like listening to rock music. Like sometimes you just don't understand the language even though it's the same
It's
language.
quite
Yeah,
like
yeah.
cerebral, isn't it? Though I think, and it's not necessarily, that's something that's like accessible at first,
Yeah.
unless you get it. But that's to a certain extent, that's hip hop.
Yeah.
Do you know? But depending on like, you mentioned earlier, like people tend to listen to the sound and the tones
Yeah.
before they listen to the lyrics.
True. Yeah.
It's probably the other way around for JEHST. Do you know
yeah,
what I'm saying?
Yeah. JEHST, and it's funny because basically what happened with JEHST is that I just thought it was a metaphor mathematics sort of rapper.
Mm-hmm.
But then I was just playing on a PlayStation and I heard him say, "We're living in a PlayStation TV generation of video gamers, mainly concerned with their next pair of trainers. The trainers to worship the famous, brainless pawns in the game. Got third world." Saying all this stuff, and I was like, "Yo, I'm on the PlayStation. You're speaking about me playing on the PlayStation. I
Mhm.
do worship my trainers, and I know they're training us to worship the famous, and they're pawns. We're just pawns in the game."
It just clicked
So
for
I'm
you,
just
man.
like, yo, like
Yeah,
this
yeah.
guy, that unlocked the gateway to listening to his whole catalog. Just
Mhm.
him saying that. The track's called Freedom Fighters. It's not even, I can't even find the track. It's on YouTube somewhere. With Kalashnikov, Kaiser. So yeah, that opened me up. As soon as I heard that, then obviously I got Alcoholic Author. whatever, Citizen Smith, I don't know, all of his catalogue is just like,
Nuke Proof Suit.
yeah, just
man.
it's insane. And I literally feel he's like the UK Nas.
Yeah, man.
I even saw him in Dalston, and I was just like gassing to him. I was like, "Oh, bruv, like da da da. Look, you gotta hear me. I want to put out a track." He's like, "Bruv, chill. Like, look, when you got the track, send it to me."
I think it was Skirmish who was on the podcast from Rhyme Asylum, and he described JEHST as the white Nas. I think it was him who said that. I was like, yeah, I see where you're coming from. It's an apt comparison.
Yeah, he's insane. Like
Yeah.
the way he puts words together, I don't think anyone does. I don't like understand like because I remember someone used to say like, nah, Kalashnikov's like that, and we used to have these debates because at the time I guess it's Kalashnikov or JEHST. But my thing with Kalashnikov is that Kalashnikov is assertive, and when he says something, you listen.
Mm-hmm.
But he's not necessarily got. He doesn't paint pictures to me the way that JEHST does. The way JEHST puts words together is insane. Like I still look up to it. But yeah, anyway, like yeah.
It's crazy, man. So before we wrap up, man, do you want to talk a little bit more about the upcoming like projects you've got going? So obviously you mentioned a song a month, and you alluded to an upcoming project by Jungle Brown as well. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah. So Jungle Brown are releasing Full Circle in September. Full Circle, for people that are like core Jungle Brown fans, they might have heard a bit of Full Circle last year because it did actually come out. But the re-up is much better. I say it's much better because I've got better as a rapper, so I've redone half my bars, and plus we've got some special features. So, should I tell you now?
Do it, man. Do it. Come on, I'll do Westwood. Give us a name. Give us a name.
I'm only gonna give you one name. I'm not
Alright.
gonna give you the next because the next single's the next single's big. I did say behind the scenes, but I don't want to say it on air. But we got Flip Tricks on Wicked.
Okay, man. Sick.
Nice, man.
Yeah.
Sick,
Yeah, like they've got the High Focus connection. We've got an international artist who's like half Zimbabwean, half Australian. That's a little hint there for who's gonna be on the track.
Jake frantically Google.
So Flight 314 is almost like the boom bap thing. People can say how they feel about it in the sense of they're bringing that old school back or whatever they want to say, which is calm. It's all good. Whereas Full Circle, I know it sounds big because I like these big statements, but I want people to look at it and like Anderson .Paak's Malibu for hip hop.
Okay, man.
So when I say that, it's like just an eclectic mix of sounds.
Yep. Yeah.
But you hear us at the core. So we're gonna have house on there. We're gonna have like some Afrobeat sound and stuff. We're gonna have trap. But the core, is hip hop. Because at the end of the day, the majority of it is like the boom bap sound. It's just that at the end of the day, in our way of pushing the sound forward, it's showing that music is a mood. So it's like if you feel like turning up, like fuck trap, just do drum and bass, innit? Like, but if you feel like chilling, like chilled lo-fi hip hop. So it's like my thing is like just represent the mood because I feel Anderson .Paak's Malibu represents a mood of what.
It's a great album, man. I mean, Anderson .Paak just like
he's insane,
man. Yeah, he's crazy. He's
insane.
crazy.
I've got a lot of inspiration from him lately. That's why if people watch my Insta, I've got a few like previews of Insta songs.
I was in I drove through Oxnard a few weeks ago. I was over in America for my honeymoon.
Okay.
So I was just like, that looks familiar. Ah, shit. Anderson .Paak.
Yes,
my
Lord.
man. Yes, Lord.
Yes, Lord.
Yeah, man.
So, and before we finish there, so who are you listening to at the moment?
Who am I listening to? You know what? Apart from all the obvious names, Saba.
Oh yeah, Saba.
I think Saba's incredible.
He does stuff with like No Name and that, doesn't he? And is he Chicago?
Shmino, I think he's gonna be on that J. Cole or Dreamville collaborative project.
Sick,
I'm gonna definitely listen to that Dreamville project. But Saba's one of my favorites right now. Mick Jenkins is one of my favorites. The way Mick Jenkins puts words together is mad as well. I don't know. Apart from all the names I just said to you, Lil Sims, Slow Ties album, Skepta, even a bit of Mo Stack, Heady One. I've finally gotten to understanding why people say he's like one of the best of that sound. Because for time I was just like, I can't listen to him. He doesn't even pronounce his words right proper.
Are you liking the
but
UK
I like Heady One.
music scene at the moment?
it's the best time ever.
Yeah, man.
Like, I'm really excited. That's why I'm just like, I'm on my Russ work ethic. Well, he was putting out a song a week, but I'm gonna put out a song a month, and just what you'll hear on Jungle Brown's next project. I say a lyric. I say it's all up for the taking, because I literally think it's all up for the taking. You know, high focus, headed up. You know, that sound. You know, they let you know that it can be done, and I think independent's gonna take over. So my thing is, if it's really gonna take over, and you really feel you want to be a part of it, keep on shelling the songs.
Hell yeah,
So you
man.
just dropped that track Unity, didn't you?
Yeah, but that's just I'm not even releasing that, because
Right.
I don't want to ruin the campaign of the single. Basically, the next single that I'm bringing out in next week is by The Last Skeptic. The Last Skeptic is like a heavyweight from the hip hop scene, in the sense of he was doing back in the day with Doc Brown. He's done a few Koji tracks. Like if you check out Last Skeptic's catalog, he's done a work with a lot of artists. So I don't want that song glazing that campaign. That song was
Right.
just me. Like, I'll be honest with you, I feel like I can do a song every day. It's just a matter of how I'm gonna pay my bills and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
for
But
real,
I
man.
can literally, I'm on a 2-pack work ethic right now. Just
Yeah.
bang out 3 songs a day. So that was out of meeting someone from the community. And they're like, hey, can you do a song for my event? I was like, I don't know, because mixing, mastering. But then I saw Tony. Tony had like a kind of nice beat. I was like, all right, let's bang it out. Done.
Tony come through with the beat.
Yeah.
Nice,
So
man.
that was it. But yeah, man.
So typically we always play out with a track from the artist we're interviewing. So is there a track you want us to play out with?
My track or someone else's track?
Typically your track, man. So it could be one of yours. It could be Jungle Brown's. It could be Ric Flo's.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Well, because my single comes out next week, Revolt is definitely the track I want to play. It's produced by The Last Skeptic.
But we've come in with Revolt, haven't we?
Oh shit. All right. Cool.
Play it again if you want, mate.
No. You know what? I gotta plug Jungle Brown then. So, keep it moving.
Keep it moving. All right, man. Let's do this. So before we play out with Keep It Moving, Aiden, where can you find the podcast, man?
So, well, before I do that, I just want to say, like, big up. Thanks very much for coming on. Big
All
up
good,
all the Jungle Brown guys.
Yeah, big up, man. Thanks for coming on.
So
It's all good.
yeah, you can find us on Spotify, iTunes, all streaming platforms. If there's one that you listen through and you can't find us, ping us a message and we'll get on there. YouTube, you can get all the videos of the episodes on YouTube, and also some cool content as well. And go like, subscribe. There's loads of new stuff coming up in the future. We're keeping busy, we're grinding, and there's stuff coming up. So stay locked.
Before I forget as well, so we're at Shotgun The Aux, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Rick, what's your handle?
It's Ric Flo Music on all platforms.
And at Jungle Brown as well.
And at Jungle Brown, yeah.
Cool, man.
Hit us up if you enjoyed it. Then hit us up. I'm gonna be doing my Gary V flex anyway. So.
Ric Flo, thanks again, man. And I'm gonna doze off. I'm fucking tired. So
Sorry,
we'll
This is
see
the
you.
first episode that's gone from a Wednesday to a Thursday.
Yeah. I
It's a
love that, man. We've gone across 2 days. I like that, man. So this is Jungle Brown. We keep it moving.